Welcome, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to Quality Matters, the podcast where we explain ISO 9001 in plain language and separate what the standard really means from what people often think it means. So, this is episode 2 of our series, What ISO 9001 Really Means versus What People Think It Means. In episode 1, we talked about Clause 4.0, Context of the Organization. So, we discussed how ISO 9001 is not just about asking companies to create documents. It's asking companies to understand their business, their customers, their risk, their interested parties, and the internal and external issues that can affect the quality management system. So today we're moving forward into one of the most important and most misunderstood clauses in ISO 9001, and that is Clause 5.0, Leadership. So now when people hear the word leadership in ISO 9001, many of them immediately think about the company president signing the quality policy, or the general manager sitting in a management review meeting once a year. But Clause 5.0 is much deeper than that. Clause 5 is about ownership, it's about accountability, it's about customer focus, it is about making sure the quality management system is not just something separate from the business. It's about making sure leadership is actively involved in making the quality system work. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what people think Clause 5 means, what it really means, and how companies can demonstrate leadership in a practical way. This episode is especially useful for manufacturing companies, machine shops, sheet metal companies, metal finishing companies, device suppliers, aerospace suppliers, and any company that wants to maintain a strong ISO 9001 quality management system. Okay, without further delay, let's get started. Okay, everyone, let's start with the most common misunderstandings. A lot of people think Clause 5 simply means top management has to sign a quality policy, attend a meeting, and tell a quality manager to handle ISO. That is probably one of the biggest myths in ISO 9001. In many companies, especially small and mid-sized manufacturing companies, the quality manager becomes the person everyone points to when ISO 9001 is discussed. So if an auditor asks about quality objectives, people say, well, the quality manager handles that. If an auditor asks about customer complaints, they say, well, again, the quality manager tracks that. If an auditor asks about corrective actions, they say that's quality's responsibility. If an auditor asks about risk, process performance, or improvement, once again, everyone turns toward the quality manager. But ISO 9001 does not say the quality manager owns the entire quality management system alone. The quality manager may coordinate the system. The quality manager may maintain procedures. The quality manager may help prepare for audits. The quality manager may track corrective actions and support process owners. But leadership responsibility cannot be fully delegated away. That is the key point. Top management cannot simply say, we hired a quality manager, so ISO is handled. Clause 5 expects leadership to be actively involved. Leadership must make sure the quality management system is aligned with the business. Leadership must make sure requirements are understood. Leadership must make sure responsibilities are clear. Leadership must provide resources. Leadership must promote improvement. Leadership must support the people responsible for making the system work. So when people think Clause 5 is about signatures, titles, and delegation, they are missing the real intent. Clause 5 is about leadership behavior, period. So what does Clause 5 really mean? In simple terms, Clause 5 means top management must lead the quality management system. That means leadership must make sure the quality management system is not just in a binder of procedures, a folder of forms, or something the company only thinks about when the quality auditor shows up. The quality management system should be part of the way the company operates every day. It should show up in quoting. It should show up in order review. It should show up in purchasing. It should show up in production planning. It should show up in inspection. It should show up in training. It should show up in shipping. It should show up in customer communication. It should show up in customer corrective actions. And it should show up in management review. So Clause 5 is asking top management to make sure the quality management system is integrated into the business. For example, let's say a machine shop is trying to grow into aerospace. That business goal affects the quality management system. So the company may need stronger contract review, better traceability, tighter supplier control, documented inspection records, and a better control of customer flow down requirements. That is not just a quality department issue. That is a leadership issue. Or let's say a metal machining company wants to reduce customer complaints related to coating thickness, processing errors, or missing certification. Leadership must support training, process control, equipment maintenance, chemical control, inspection, and corrective action. Again, that is not just quality's responsibility, that is leadership responsibility. Clause 5 really means that leadership must create the environment where quality can succeed. A quality manager cannot build a strong quality management system if leadership does not provide time, people, tools, training, and authority. A production supervisor cannot control the process if management rewards speed but ignores defects. An inspector cannot protect the company if leadership pressures them to release questionable product. And then an employee cannot report problems honestly if they are punished every time they identify an issue. This is why Clause 5 matters. Leadership sets the tone. Now, let's talk about leadership and commitment. Leadership and commitment means top management must demonstrate involvement in the quality management system. The word demonstrate is important here. It's not enough for leadership to say, okay, quality is important. They have to show it. How do they show it? They show it by establishing quality objectives. They show it by reviewing performance. They show it by providing resources. They show it by supporting corrective action. They show it by making sure customer requirements are met. They show it by holding process owners accountable. And finally, they show it by making decisions that protect quality even when those decisions may be inconvenient. So here's a practical example. Imagine an order is due to ship today, but inspection finds a critical dimension out of tolerance. A weak quality culture says, hey, ship it anyway. The customer probably will not notice. A strong leadership culture says, stop. Contain the issue, review the requirement, contact the customer if needed, determine the risk, do not ship non-conforming product unless it is properly reviewed, approved, and documented. That is leadership. Leadership commitment is tested when there's pressure. It's easy to say quality matters when everything is going well, but when production is behind schedule, when a customer is pushing for delivery, when scrap costs are high, or when rework is expensive, that is when leadership commitment becomes real. During an ISO audit, an auditor may ask top management questions like, what are your quality objectives? How do you know your QMS is effective? What customer issues are you currently working on? What risk could affect your ability to meet customer requirements? What resources are needed to improve performance? How do you communicate the importance of quality to employees? How do you support continual improvement? So those questions should not surprise leadership. Top management should be able to answer those questions naturally because those topics should already be part of how they run the business. A weak answer is the quality manager and the quality director handles that. A strong answer is we review on-time delivery, customer complaints, scrap, supplier performance, and corrective actions during management review and monthly operations meetings. When we miss a target, we assign action items and follow up. That is what leadership involvement sounds like. Another major part of Clause 5 is customer focus. So this is another area where management sometimes misunderstands the standard. When people hear customer focus, they may think it simply means being polite and courteous to customers or basically keeping the customers happy. Of course, customer relationships are important, but ISO 9001 means something more specific. Customer focus means the organization understands customer requirements, meets those requirements, addresses risks that could affect conformity, and works to improve customer satisfaction. Customer focus starts before the order is actually accepted. For example, when a customer sends a purchase order, drawing, specification, or special requirement, the company must review it carefully and decide the following. Can we make this part? Do we have the correct equipment? Do we have the correct material? Do we understand the drawing and the drawing notes? Are there special inspection requirements? Are there customer flow-down requirements? Are there packaging requirements? Are there certification requirements? Are outside processes or special processes required? Can we meet the delivery date? That is customer focus. Customer focus also shows up in production. Are operators using the correct work instructions? Is the correct drawing revision available? Are inspection points clearly identified? Are non-conforming parts controlled? Are customer-owned materials protected? Are changes reviewed before implementation? Again, that's customer focus. Customer focus also shows up in purchasing. Are suppliers approved? Are customer requirements flowed down to suppliers? Are outside processes controlled? Are supplier certifications reviewed? Again, that is customer focus. Customer focus also shows up in shipping. Is the product properly packaged? Is the correct paperwork included? Is the certification of conformance accurate? Is the shipment going to the correct address? Is the product protected from damage? Again, that is customer focus. So customer focus is not just a phrase, it is a system of controls that helps make sure the customer receives conforming parts on time. Leadership is responsible for making sure those controls exist and are followed. Now let's talk about the quality policy. This is one of the most common examples of ISO being treated like paperwork. Many companies create a quality policy because ISO requires it. They put it on the wall. They put it in the quality manual. They train employees to repeat it, then they forget about it. That is not the intent. The quality policy should communicate the company's commitment to quality, customer satisfaction, meeting requirements, and continual improvement. But here is the most important part. The quality policy should fit the company. A quality policy should not sound like a generic statement copied from the internet. A machining company's quality policy should reflect precision machining, customer drawings, specification compliance, on-time delivery, competent employees, and continual improvement. A metal finishing company's quality policy should reflect process control, chemical processing discipline, specification compliance, inspection, traceability, and customer satisfaction. Whereas a medical device supplier's quality policy should reflect compliance, documented evidence, risk control, cleanliness, reliability, and customer requirements. The policy should connect to the actual business. Employees do not need to memorize the quality policy word for word. What matters is they understand what the quality policy means and how their work supports it. For example, an auditor may ask an operator, "Are you aware of the quality policy?" A weak answer would be no, or "I think it's posted somewhere in the hallway." A better answer would be, "Yes, our quality policy focuses on meeting customer requirements, doing the job correctly, and improving our processes. For my job, that means I follow the work instructions, check my work, and report problems." That is a strong answer because it shows understanding. Leadership must make sure the quality policy is communicated, understood, and applied. That can happen through new employee orientation, annual ISO awareness training, employee meetings, postings throughout the facility, internal audits, and the management review. But the best way to communicate the quality policy is to connect it to real work. If the policy says the company is committed to customer satisfaction, leadership should talk about customer feedback, complaints, late deliveries, and corrective actions. If the quality policy says the company is committed to continual improvement, leadership should talk about improvement projects, scrap reduction, training, and process performance. The quality policy should not be a decoration. It should be a message that guides the company. Okay, roles, responsibilities, and authorities. So Clause 5 also requires leadership to make sure roles, responsibilities, and authorities are assigned, communicated, and understood. This sounds simple, but it's extremely important. In many companies, problems happen because people assume someone else is responsible. Who reviews customer orders? Who approves suppliers? Who verifies material certifications? Who controls calibration? Who has the authority to stop production? Who identifies non-conforming product? Who approves rework? Who releases product? Who updates procedures? Who maintains training records? Who communicates with customers when there's a problem? If those responsibilities are not clear, the system becomes inconsistent. An organizational chart is helpful, but an organizational chart by itself is not always enough. The company may also need job descriptions, procedures, responsibilities, process owners, assignments, training records, responsibility matrices, or process maps. For example, purchasing should clearly understand their responsibility for approved suppliers and supplier flow-down requirements. Production should understand their responsibility for following work instructions, identifying product, maintaining traceability, and reporting problems. QC should understand their responsibility for verifying product conformity and documenting the results. Shipping should understand their responsibility for packaging, labeling, preservation, and shipment accuracy. Management should understand their responsibility for resources, objectives, customer focus, risk, improvement, and accountability. The quality manager may support all of this, but they cannot own every process. That is why leadership must assign responsibilities clearly. A good QMS does not operate by memory. It operates through clear responsibilities, trained people, and controlled processes. Okay. Let's talk about the myth that ISO belongs to the quality manager. The quality manager owns ISO. This is a common belief, but it's not correct. The quality manager may coordinate the quality management system, but the QMS belongs to the entire organization, such as production owns production controls, purchasing owns supplier controls, sales or customer service owns order review and customer communication, shipping owns packaging and release activities, management owns resources, objectives, strategic direction, and accountability. Human resources or management may own training and competence. Maintenance owns equipment upkeep. Inspection owns verification activities. So the quality manager helps make sure the system is documented, maintained, audited, and improved, but the quality manager cannot make every department perform correctly alone. If purchasing does not evaluate suppliers, that is not only a quality problem, that is a purchasing process problem. If production does not follow work instructions, that is not only a quality problem, that is a production process problem. If leadership does not provide enough trained personnel, that is not only a quality problem, that is a resource and leadership problem. If customer requirements are not reviewed before accepting an order, that is not only a quality problem. Again, that is a sales, contract review, and leadership problem. So that is why Clause 5 is so important. It prevents the company from treating ISO as one person's job. A strong company has process owners. Each process owner understands their responsibilities, monitors performance, and addresses problems and supports improvement. When that happens, audits become much smoother. Instead of everyone running around looking for documents, each person can explain their own process. That is what a working quality management system looks like. Okay, let's talk about leadership during problems. So leadership is most visible when problems happen. It's easy to support quality when production is on time, customers are happy, suppliers are performing, and audits are clean. But the real test comes when something goes wrong. A customer complaint comes in, a shipment is late, a part fails inspection, a supplier sends bad material, a machine goes down, an employee makes a documentation error, an internal audit identifies a nonconformance. How leadership responds matters. If leadership responds with blame, fear, anger, or pressure to hide the problem, the quality culture becomes weak. Employees may stop reporting issues, supervisors may push defects forward, records may become unreliable, and corrective actions may become shallow. Problems may repeat. But if leadership responds with discipline and fairness, the company gets stronger. A good leadership response sounds something like this. Thank you for identifying the issue. Let's contain the problem, protect the customer, find the root cause, and take corrective action. That kind of response builds trust. It tells employees that quality matters. It tells employees that reporting a problem is better than hiding a problem. It tells the organization that customer protection is more important than pretending everything is fine. Leadership must create an environment where employees are comfortable identifying non-conforming product, reporting process issues, and suggesting improvements. That does not mean there is no accountability. Accountability is still important, but accountability should be focused on improving the process, not just blaming the person. So if a machinist records the wrong quantity on a traveler, leadership should ask, was the requirement clear? Was the employee trained? Was the form confusing? Was there production pressure? Was this an isolated issue or a repeated problem? If an inspector misses a defect, leadership should ask, was the inspection method clear? Were the tools calibrated? Was the drawing revision correct? Was the workload reasonable? And was there a verification step? That is leadership thinking. Clause 5 is not just about authority, it's about responsibility. Management review as leadership evidence. One of the strongest ways to show leadership involvement is through management review meetings. But management review should not be treated as an annual paperwork exercise. Management review should be a real business review of the quality management system. Leadership should review customer satisfaction, customer complaints, on-time delivery, internal audit results, nonconformities, corrective actions, supplier performance, process performance, quality objectives, risk, opportunities, resource needs, and improvement. The purpose is not just to satisfy the auditor. The purpose is to help leadership make better decisions. For example, if customer complaints are increasing, leadership should ask why. Are the complaints related to one product line? Are they related to one customer? Are they related to one process? Are they related to training? Are they related to suppliers? Are they related to inspection? If on-time delivery is declining, leadership should ask what is causing the problem. Is it material availability? Is it machine capacity? Is it poor scheduling? Is it supplier delays? Is it rework? Is it unclear customer requirements? This is where leadership connects quality data to business decisions. Management review should lead to action. If the company reviews data but never assigns action items, the review is weak. A strong management review identifies issues, assigns responsibilities, sets due dates, reviews progress, and follows up. That is leadership. Okay, everyone, let's review a practical example. Imagine a small machining company with 35 employees. The company is ISO 9001 certified, but the owner rarely participates in the quality management system. The quality manager handles the procedures, audits, corrective actions, customer complaints, and management review preparation. During an audit, the auditor asks the owner, "What are your quality objectives?" The owner says, "Well, the quality manager tracks that." The auditor asks, "How do you measure customer satisfaction?" Owner says, "I think our customers are happy." The auditor asks, "What risk could affect your ability to meet customer requirements?" The owner says, "We deal with problems when they come up." That company may have documents, but leadership involvement is weak. Now compare that to a stronger answer. The owner says, "Our current quality objectives are improving on-time delivery, reducing internal scrap, reducing customer complaints, and improving supplier delivery. We review those metrics monthly. Our biggest current risks are supplier delays and training new employees. We are qualifying backup suppliers and updating our training matrix." That answer shows leadership involvement. That answer shows awareness. That answer shows ownership. That is the difference between paperwork compliance and a working quality management system. Okay, everyone, let's close with the main takeaway. What do people think Clause 5 means? They often think it means signing the quality policy, attending management review, and assigning ISO to the quality manager. But what does Clause 5 really mean? It means leadership must actively own the direction, support, communication, accountability, and effectiveness of the quality management system. It means customer focus must be built into the business. It means the quality policy must be meaningful. It means responsibilities must be clear. It means leadership must provide resources. It means leaders must support improvement and respond properly when problems happen. ISO 9001 is not just about passing audits. It's about building a system that helps the company meet customer requirements, improve performance, reduce mistakes, and make better decisions. This is the real meaning of Clause 5.0 leadership. So thank you for listening to Quality Matters. In the next episode, we will discuss Clause 6.0 planning, including risk, opportunities, quality objectives, and planning for change. Until next time, remember, quality is not just a department, quality is a leadership responsibility.